how can we all learn to hit our best more often? We're going to look at plane, pivot and club face in today's video. Let's get into it. So part one, we're going to look at plane. Now, we often see this setup, don't we? A alignment stick in the ground, and another one set at roughly a 45-degree angle on the backwards part of the ball to target line. And I would always recommend this. Now, the one thing we've got to be careful with, and we're going to talk about two parts of plane here, is if we are looking at a swing plane, having the camera in the right spot can make a massive difference. Josh, right, you put the camera, go to hand height for us. So you're roughly at hand height and hand position left to right, aren't you? Okay, go a little bit to your right. Look how much different this now looks. Go a little bit to your left. Look how much different this looks. Okay, let's repeat that same process. Josh's knees are going to take a battering here. To the top and to last parallel now, okay? So, club looks a little bit inside there, doesn't it? Okay, so take it to your right again. This club's going to look even more inside. Now put it to your left. It's going to potentially look, it's a little bit overplaying as I come in the further left you have that camera. So it's really important when analysing your swing and analysing your swing plane, where and what am I filming? Use this as your reference point and use your alignment stick, because you could start to make adjustments in your golf swing which are detrimental to your technique because of where you filmed it. When people send them to online lessons, it's the biggest mistake people make, not putting the camera in the right spot. I also want you to think about this way, and almost like the arc around your body. And what we're to do is, if you're watching this video now, put it on the side, and also don't forget, after you watch this video, the link down below to join the Facebook group to get all the PDF documents that you can take with you to the range. So I want you to put your palms up, and I want you just to rotate around your body. So where my hands are moving now is our little circle that would go around us, our hula hoop would go around us here. Okay, well, in golf, we're on an incline plane, so we're tilted a little bit forward bend. We do the same motion. This would be ideally where our natural plane would fall. Now, there are different ways of matching gut plane. Some people are a little bit steep to shallow, and I would definitely probably recommend that way around and that pattern of movement as opposed to in to over, because a lot of us find that is more the one that comes out naturally. But standing there and going, right, okay, in, through, back, in, through, back. Just get an understanding of one, film it in the right spot, and two, what feels comfortable for you. Let's get into the second part of today's video. Next part of today's video is that pivot in the backswing. So come around to this direction, and this is where our alignment stick in the ground is going to prove very useful yet again. So what we always see is a little bit of bump and lift to the top. Now what I want you to feel is we're going to get into this alignment stick, and we're going to have roughly 2 finger widths apart difference between the edge of the alignment stick and your right thigh. We might have a little bit of movement into it and then away from it, okay? This would help us get good hip depth. This would help us get a good turn between upper and lower. Now, if you're looking at this, I've said this before, if you're finding this hard because you feel like you've got a lack of thoracic mobility, letting these hips go is a great way of doing this. Now, what I see most often is when we're trying to get in the backswing, a lot of people let this foot sort of roll in. Now, we see good players in the past, Ben Hogan, Molinari, he's one of them players that does it as well. But what I don't like to see is it lift up and it gets the left side higher than the right. We can do it this way, where our right side stays higher than the left. That would be not so bad, but when it starts to become this way and we lose that torsion between upper and lower, that is where this becomes a little bit, well, not as favourable for our golf swing. So what I'm going to recommend for this part is grabbing in a head cover, and you might want to grab an old one if you don't want to dirty it, or if it's not a white one, don't use that. Stand on this, get in that same position. This is going to be great for 2 ways. We're going to feel like we stamp the power in on the downswing as well here. So we're going to stand just outside the alignment stick, into it, away from it, and then I'm going to feel on the downswing, stamping pressure in, push up and push out, and again that pressure will feel down there. So what I'm not looking for is this really to come off. What you can feel is a little bit of a lack of feeling in there, and then as we start our downswing, boof, and up and out. So it's a real great way of going, right, okay, I know I don't want to feel like I'm pressing down on this in the backswing, sorry, but I know I don't want to lift it up. It's a great way of getting some feedback. Where is my weight? Where's my pressure? Are my hips pivoting well? Have I got a good split between upper and lower? And what we want you to get out of this second section is not a sway, not a slide, but a pivot and turn, and distance between the alignment stick and our hip gets bigger, and then a stamp in to start the downswing. That makes up section 2, and now we're going to get into section 3, which is going to be my favourite part of today's section. We're on to section 3, and if you are enjoying this video, don't forget to that big red subscribe button to join this team. We've got daily content that's going to help you improve. Okay, so this is our final section of today, and this is what I kind of think is the ultimate one. This is us understanding club face and face to path relationships. So we've understood plane, we've understood what we want to do in terms of pivot and pressure. Now I want to get into what we want to feel in terms of club face. So you can all do this. We can all get a board and just draw on it. So having a look at a close-up now, you've got your target line, you've got your in to out, and you've got your out to in line. And what I've done here is absolutely positioned my golf ball with the sort of the lined area where it was a Pro V, or this is a TP5 Pix. Where that line would go, because I always on a tee would do this, or on a par 3 would do this, because that line is distinguishing where my ball to target line is. So what I want you to do here is bringing in what we've spoken about so far, is can we make some swings to the top, and can we swing this back down, and let's just see where naturally our club face would be pointing. I also want you to picture and to make some practice swing just hovering above the golf ball. If you are a player that you know you get a little bit too out to in, can you make some practice swings now, swinging a little bit more into out? So almost using this on the ground as a reference point, using this on the ground as a guide to fixing your swing. So if you're too out to in, down the pink, let's try and feel it's a little bit more down the blue. And if you're a little bit too much down the blue, can we feel like the club's a little bit more in front of us and swinging down the pink? Now, the important thing to understand is, an important thing with club face is, we're looking for relationships. It's no good just going, oh, I want this club face pointing at target every single time. We want to know, are we trying to hit a draw? Are we trying to hit a fade? So how I would take this to the golf course is this. We need a lot of alignment sticks today, don't we? Need a ton of alignment sticks. So I'd place one in the ground, directly down that target line. So you can see there, directly down our target line. And if you know what, if you're going out playing with some of your friends, this is what I'd recommend, and just all do it. All stick one in the ground and try and play some shots around it. So if you're looking to hit that fade, and some of us hit that naturally, so it's good to understand how that occurs. We want that path that's a little bit down the pink. We want our face that's a little bit open to the pink, but not pointing right of our target line. When you get into that slice, that club face points too far to the right, too much of a glance. Okay, if you're looking to hit that draw, which I think a lot of us are looking to do right now, you would want to feel like you're swinging down the blue, club face pointing a little bit left of the blue, but not pointing too far left of target line, or not pointing left of target line, because that is when we did too much of those hook shots. So out on the golf course now, I want you to picture this little setup we've got right here. We'll move this out of the way and place that golf ball with the top of that line directly down. So I now can stand here. Picture that the top line is my ball to target line. Right, okay, picture that shot. Picture this shot. And start to work it round this, because this is for me the golden nugget moment where we start to let the shot dictate our swing. I've said this so many times on the channel. Yes, we've got to worry about our plane a little bit. Yes, we've got to worry about our pivot. but we want to be in the end a little bit more reactive to target, because that makes us perform. Again, if we're throwing apple to the bin, we'd look at where the bin is. We wouldn't bother about this. If we're playing baseball, we're interpreting that ball. If we're playing cricket, we're interpreting that ball. Tennis, exactly the same. Golf, we become so fixated on everything here, we forget what happens here and more target side. So finishing off your session with being more target side is so key. Now the final thing to do is actually just hit this one away. I wish. I absolutely wish. So that is all from today's video. Let's just summarize this. Plane, pivot, so we're turning in, getting the hip working away, pressurizing into that head cover. It's a great way of getting some feedback. Then finally, bringing this into the board, understanding where your club path is, where your face to path relationship is, where does mine point, pause at impact, make those air swings, and start to become more target orientated.